how do we change limited beliefs so that we can actually really change them? Now, before we can get into exactly how we're going to do this, there's a couple things that you need to know. Number one, the subconscious mind is basically in charge of about, we think, 95% of your behavior, your choices, and your actions. The conscious mind, only 5%. Now, another important part is the conscious mind is actually what's in charge, right? With only 5%. And the subconscious mind obeys that. But here's the tricky part. Changing a limited behavior is not something that we can do just because we're aware of it. So for example, if I have social anxiety before I go into a party, I can't just intellectually or rationally tell myself, don't be nervous. I'm not going to be nervous and then not be nervous. That's not the way that it works. The prefrontal cortex, where your conscious mind is not where we change limited behaviors. However, it is where the change first has to occur before it sinks into the subconscious mind. Anything habitual, anything that we think about a lot, pattern habitual thinking sinks into the subconscious mind. So in order to change a limited belief, we have to allow that to sink into the conscious mind. But it can't just be something that we want to have sink into the conscious mind or we think about every now and then. It has to be actually a truth to the conscious mind. Again, not, the prefrontal cortex is not where change happens. Now you might be asking yourself, okay, like this is sounding a little challenging. How am I going to do this? So what does change the truth of your conscious mind? So the one thing that will change a truth for your conscious mind is an experience, right? We change by experiencing ourselves differently. We change in the back of our brains by experience, right? So when we have a limited belief, we have a assumption, usually based on history. For many of us, our limited beliefs have been with us for a really long time. So we have historical data around what happens with these beliefs. Is that we don't have good outcomes, right? So in order to change a limited belief, at the very end, step 5, where we're not at, we're going to have to engage in some different type of actions to have different type of experiences. But not fast forwarding too much, why I want you to know this is important is that if we can change the truth of the conscious mind by having different outcomes and different experiences, it will sink into the subconscious mind. And once it does, you are home free. So the first step in changing a limited behavior very quickly is, first of all, becoming aware of the beliefs that you have that are limited in the first place. And the best way to do this, I do this a lot with clients, is to, and I'm going to do this for you in a moment, is to hear words and write down, get some paper and a pen or pencil and write down immediately what comes to you. And if you need to, take a break, pause and listen back again. And the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear a word, I want you to write it down, because in hearing these words, so much of your beliefs will actually come out. I couldn't memorize these all, so I wrote them down. Money, worth, career, children, relationships, marriage, success, generosity, appearance, responsibility, wealth, health, happiness, creativity, communication, balance, and conflict. Now, if you go back or you write these words down, and again, you write down the first thing that comes to your mind, you're not going to get at everything, right? Limited beliefs keep us stuck and small. They say that we're not powerful. They say that we can't. They say that we are less than. We have no value. They say all kinds of things to us. And basically, we are inferior. We're not capable. And these beliefs are very, very strong. Actually, our core conditioning beliefs, so the beliefs that we took on as children or that were projected onto us, are actually wired into our nervous system, meaning not only do we have beliefs, but we actually have a somatic or bodily response in relation to these beliefs, but that's another video. So when you hear these words, write that down. That will give you an idea. And think about your life right now. Like, what is the status quo? This is another way to get at them. What is the status quo of your life? And what beliefs keep you in that situation, especially keep you in that situation. And if you're wondering, like, how do I get more limited beliefs? Look at any patterns in your life. Like anything like a circle, like a pattern is something that repeats itself over and over and over again. And by looking at that pattern or circle, you can pinpoint beliefs that you engage in order to have repetitive actions. All right. So there's all different kinds of ways to get at limited behavior, but patterns is a good way to get at them. Your history is a good way to get at them. The words that I said to you is a good way to get at them. Journaling, reflecting. But for this exercise, we're going to only pick one. So spend some time really coming up with some really limiting beliefs that keep you stuck, small, and afraid. Because when you're done with step one, again, identifying the belief systems in the first place, we're going to move on to step two. And the thing I want to leave you with for step one is that just being aware of something, again, just being aware that you have a limited belief around your self-value or self-worth doesn't automatically change it. All right. Awareness does not automatically change it. Much more work is involved than that. So if you can begin to identify in step one, the limited beliefs, then we'll get going in the movement part in step two. All right. I'm excited that you're here.